Hello everybody, Dr. Z, back to you for another exciting episode of Dr. Z Discussions. And today we are going to get right into it now with super herbs, super nutrition, berries, essential fatty acids, minerals. We're going to cover a lot of information, but I want to keep it basic. And then in subsequent videos, of course, I have to do physiology, human physiology 101. I'll get that. That shouldn't take but about an hour, 45-minute video. But the thing is, I'm getting a lot of calls from family members, with diabetes, family members with obesity, family members with meningitis and brain infections, family members with HIV, family members with hepatitis, family members with Alzheimer's. So, you know, there's an overwhelming demand just from my family. And this is, we're talking about extended family, and also, you know, current family, cancer, back problems, hearing aids, so hearing and deafness problems. And these diseases, when they're diagnosed by physicians, cause one to become fear. Infections, by the way, now the flesh-eating bacteria, the HIV, which I've never seen an HIV virus yet. We've seen the antibodies to the virus, but I've not seen someone show me the actual HIV virus on electron microscopy. They can identify Ebola, but why not HIV? Anyway, I'd like to start off this episode with I put a lot of energy and research into it. Peace, power, prosperity, and most of all, love to you and your families. In this case, my family, who are experiencing some health problems. There will not be a specific video today for a specific problem. We know about Alzheimer's, we know about the meningitis, we know about the diabetes, the obesity, we know about the brain fog, we know about the musculoskeletal problems, the arthritic conditions, back problems, which I always said are epidemic. So please go back and see Living in Pain and What to Do About It. And by the way, that is a primer on the human physiology video. So you'll learn things about water, calcium, corticosteroids, cholesterol, etc., and how the body puts out its own fires of information. You can also go on the website, drzhealingarts.net, and look at the article entitled House on Fire. Again, I've been remiss in not putting products that I use myself on an everyday basis that I consider essential. They should be up on the website. I'll get them up there when I can. Right now it's important that I make the videos. And so that's my primary concern, because when family members come to me, rather than spending hours and hours of talking to them and then have the information going in one ear and out the other, I make the video, and they can then look at the video as often as they want, look at it in chunks, look at the whole thing, come back to specific parts that were unclear, and the names of herbs and nutritions and nutritional products, super foods, the berries, the sea herbs that I'll talk about today, they can all refer to them. And I think the family, there's a ripple effect going through the family because of, you know, the excellent work that my father's doing in curing himself of cancer. No, I am not curing him of cancer. I am merely the educator. I am the Pied Piper. I am the one that brings the information on board and try to put it together on board so that it's simple enough that people can understand it. Of course, my mother's been doing yeoman work and making sure that he sticks to the protocol. But again, it's just some consciousness that outright rejected radiation and chemotherapy for, quote, the diagnosis of cancer. And it was funny, I was having a discussion with him as well as my cousin and other family members. And I asked my father, what did he think the number one hurdle was in dealing with cancer? And he was surprisingly got it correct, which means he has been listening to the videos, or has at least heard them all at least once. He said fear, and yes, fear of the disease itself, whatever that diagnosis is, but cancer gives you the real fear, life-threatening fear, fear that you're not going to make it, that you only have hours to live, minutes to live, or they tell you have a year or 6 months, and you know, this is insanity for any doctor to tell a patient that and take away hope, because the power of the mind can destroy you or hasten your early demise. It wouldn't be the cancer at all, it would be your fear of the diagnosis that hastens your demise. So he was right, that fear is the thing. So once you overcome fear of the quote diagnosis, then you can get on with the business of cure. And so he's doing quite well. He refused the radiation and the chemotherapy, and again, I don't have anything against the oncologist, but I mean, you got to offer people more than what you offer them. You can't treat cancer with more acids, try to kill every cell in the body, and in the process hope that the cancer cells are weaker than your regular cells, and then somehow the cancer cells will get wiped out, and you'll be left with enough strong body tissues to survive the onslaught of chemotherapy. So when you're dealing with cancer, which is already a toxic disorder, toxic acidosis, and then you throw acids on top of it, nurses who work in the chemotherapy field say you get a drop of this chemotherapy on you, it actually burns your skin. I just don't see the rationale behind that. And then we know that disharmonic electromagnetic frequencies lead to cancer. That would be radiation, but disharmonic are radiations. Being near power lines, because the electrical frequency, I believe we're running at now a sine wave and with some white noise, so we're getting some dirty electricity coming into the picture, but a sine wave is a wave that goes like this at 60 hertz. Now, the closest thing to that is very much a disharmonic frequency, 60 hertz. 55 hertz, which would be a Fibonacci number, and we'll get into Fibonacci numbers later, but Fibonacci is the way nature works. Nature works on Fibonacci principles. So that was a French scientist that discovered the Fibonacci progression of numbers, of numerology in nature. And so, and that seemed to be repetitive in all the things we looked at, from astronomy to the shell of a snail, the circle of a snail, all progress with Fibonacci numbers. So, matter of fact, one of the financial gurus that I trained under when I was trained to be a day trader and a stockbroker was used Fibonacci analysis in his trading. So even human behavior and mass human behavior, mass human thoughts will follow this sort of wave of Fibonacci numbers. But we'll get into that at another time when it's appropriate. Right now, let's get into what I use for herbs and superfoods. This is just part one of it, but I think this was enough to get my family members who are suffering on board. So, of course, if I'm suffering with a significant illness, what's the first thing that I do? I don't eat meat. Am I against meat eating per se? I am not. However, to get high quality fish, poultry, chicken, lamb, steak, the price on these things now is outrageous. I think the price for filet mignon that has been grass-fed, never grain-fed, and 100% pasture-raised is somewhere around $26 a pound. Fish, now if we look at salmon, which is my favorite fish because it has the essential fatty oils in a high concentration, especially the omega 3s, long chain, medium chain, and short chain. Let's not trip out on that. But It's just not omega-3s. It's omega-3s get broken down. Phospholipids, cholesterol, the good cholesterol. So to get fresh, and sometimes frozen and defrosted, which is not very good, salmon that's not been farm raised is now at $30 a pound. That was just at Whole Foods. So $30 a pound. To get a small 3-pound or 3.5 pound free range, fully organically fed chicken that's exposed to the sunlight. Remember, most of the chicken is being fed arsenic now and other chemicals. I mean, I went into it in the last video, hidden sources of toxins about the meat. But just to get one of those is $26. To buy 100% free-range turkey, I mean, you know, you can spend upwards to $100 for one turkey. So that right there will stop most of you in your tracks from eating a lot of meat, which is good. Why? Because the meat is full of chemicals, and I won't go into it again. But what I'm seeing right now happening in the world in general, and especially here in the United States, is estrogen-dominant hormonal cataclysms taking place. Again, estrogen-dominant hormonal cataclysms, and we'll have to reverse that. And I will talk specifically a video about that and herbs that we can use to rebalance this estrogen dominance that's taking place. And most of it's coming from the external environment, from the lotions that you wear, from the skin creams that you wear, the sun screens, estrogen compounds. Almost all of your pesticides have estrogenic properties to them. And so we're getting a lot of flabbiness, and there are guys who are raw foodists, who are vegetarians, who are eating great, and their bodies are getting flabby, and they work out, and they don't know why. And it's because they haven't dealt with the hormonal issues of estrogen dominance, which therefore decreases, especially in the male, that testosterone. The female will decrease your progesterone. But remember, males have estrogen, we need some estrogen. And estrogen is very aggressive, by the way, and acidic for me, especially these toxic estrogens. We're being, a lot of vegetarians are being assaulted by the phytoestrogens that are in plants, especially those from soy, because vegetarians seem to have a predilection to want to hang out with soy. You go to a vegan restaurant, there's a bunch of soy products. I just discovered a new vegetarian restaurant down in Studio City in California, and it has a lot of soy stuff in there. Of course, I didn't order any of the soy products, so you know. But had I not known better, you eat the soy, and the soy has phytates in it, which are toxic, and also combined good minerals, and so that your body doesn't absorb the minerals. Most of us are already suffering from malabsorption syndromes. So what is the first thing that we must do? We must understand the 10 elements of health. Having a discussion with someone the other day who's seen my videos over and over again. I said, good, you see my videos over and over again. I said, remember, each video is like a class. It's about an hour on purpose. And because in school, most classes are 45 minutes to an hour. No, these videos are not for the casual YouTube surfer that's looking for some quick 7-minute, 8-minute soundbite. This is for those who are interested in becoming students of the healing arts, of which I consider myself a student of the healing arts. So, because I'm always in learning mode. And by the way, I'm putting in just to be able to make these videos, but remember, I don't consider this work. But I'm putting in minimum of 4 hours of study a day. I'm now getting a degree in holistic nutrition. And I just started that this weekend. And so I'm now on day number 3 of that. And I've probably gotten through maybe, I don't know, 10% of the coursework. And then I have a final exam to take, which I'll probably be taking sometime towards the middle or towards the end of May. Mainly because I know a lot of the stuff already, so I can accelerate through it. And you know, I mean, the power of the internet is just incredible when if you know where to go. to teach yourself how to heal yourself and to break yourself out of the morass of closed-mindedness, which most of us are suffering from. Most of us are still waiting for a savior. Most of us are still walking around under the hypnosis of life. Most of us think you know something when I tell you you have to unlearn. I mean, you know, the funny thing is I was having a conversation, a spiritual conversation with, let's just call it unseen others, but mainly with my high self. And I just let my high self talk to me. And it was sort of laughing at me, saying, oh, you went to medical school and became a medical doctor. Oh, you worked so hard. You worked your ass off. Many, many hours. And now look at you. You gotta unlearn damn near everything, you crazy fool. It is true. Most of what I learned in medicine, I now have to unlearn. Most of what I learned in school, I have to unlearn and relearn the truth. Most of what I've been told has been a lie. I mean, I might as well still be believing in Santa Claus, the Good Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny, given now what I know. And then I laugh back at myself because, yes, I do have to unlearn this, but I unlearn it with a gracious heart. And I learn what I'm learning now. Thank God I'm now open, because I was closed-minded before. Now I'm open-minded. So when you're open-minded, now you realize you still got a lot of work to do. And it's pleasant work, it's interesting work, it's exciting work. It's taking me to places and areas that I never thought I'd be in. I never thought I'd be making, you know, now this is what, video number 28. I just didn't think I would have the time or the energy or the inclination, but guess what? I make the time, I have the energy, and I do have the inclination because I like to teach. And I like to talk. I actually like public speaking. I like talking on the radio, etc., TV, wherever I get a chance to espouse my opinions, but you know, to teach and share the knowledge that I have. But because essentially, it's not me that wants to have the knowledge. I want the knowledge spread amongst everybody. So we're talking about if you're sick. And I didn't say you have to do this forever, but if you're sick, you give up all meat eating. You give up all eggs for a while. You give up all protein. So that means nuts and seeds go out the door. Is there a place for nuts and seeds? Yes, we can bring them back later. But for 90 days, you will go on a raw food diet. You will go on herbs. You will go on detoxification herbs. To make it simple, you go to my friend and colleague, Dr. Robert Morse, ND, naturopathic doctor, GodsEarth.com, naturesbotanicalpharmacy.com, and now I think it's Dr. Morse's healthclub.com. Either one of those will take you to the same site. Become a member there and do the first kit that he has. The first kit will deworm you. It will get rid of parasites. It will get rid of funguses. And it will begin the process of opening up your GI tract and your lymph system, as well as your kidneys, and opening up the skin, and then always addressing the adrenal glands. So I don't want to go into the specific names, the burdocks, the chaparrals, the plantains. There are about 15 of them that can be considered detoxification herbs, and it doesn't make sense for me to go through those all specifically right now because it would just confuse you. Go to the master herbalist who has already concocted a detox program. So I'm recommending 90 days raw food. That means nothing cooked for now, unless you have to. Some people, when they go raw food, they find themselves not being able to digest things. And then I tell them, I said, that's why we turn to the two major appliances in my kitchen. The juicer. There are two types of juicers, the centrifugal juicer, which I use the Breville, and there is the grinding juicer, like the Champion juicer. I can't remember what the other, the green something juicer. And these things tend to mash, and some of them actually re-energize the juice. These are slower by nature, and they're less destructive to the nutrients. So if you have the time and the money, because some of these mashing juices are much more expensive. They start $500–600. Well worth it. I'll get one eventually. Right now, listen, when I make a green drink, I drink it almost immediately, so it really doesn't matter. I'm not trying to store it, but if you were going to store your green drink, then you would want one of those mashing green champion type things that actually mash rather than spinning around and chop up. They have less oxidation, and they keep the minerals and the nutrition of the green drink around, so you can store it for 2 to 3 days. Which typically, if you use the other kind, you got to drink it right away, or you got to drink it with. I wouldn't store it. Maybe I would store it overnight for go to, make it at night, drink some, and then drink some in the morning, and be done with it. But those things are very destructive. The other one is the blender. You got 2 choices in blenders: Blendtec and Vitamix. I'll say it again. You got 2 choices in blenders: Blendtec and Vitamix. Go look at the YouTube videos, choose one, and get busy with it. So if you're having trouble with digestion, and most of us are not digesting, why? Because most of us have toxic livers, and most of us are not getting bile done. Please go back and see my video. Excuse me. Please go back and see my video on the liver flush. But again, I wouldn't do the liver flush until I've at least done the 90-day raw foods and detox program. But part for those of you who can't break down foods or are having trouble with raw foods, then you're going to put together smoothies, and then you're going to put together green drinks. So let's talk about what I put in my smoothie just today. Goji berries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, apple, Fuji apple, the Valencia organic Valencia orange, watermelon, strawberries. I think I mentioned. I put some coconut water, real raw coconut oil, not the stuff that comes on the cardboard that's setting up in a section that's not refrigerated, because real coconut water will become corrupted if it's not refrigerated and kept cool. Whole Foods does have some raw organic. You'll see kind of pinkish color to it. I'm not particularly excited about that, but I will use it, and I have it in my refrigerator now, about 4 bottles. So I use some of that, and then I added some ice, some water. But then I add the superfoods. So today, let's talk about the 2 superfoods that I added to the smoothie. Pay attention here, because this is important, especially for those of you who are looking for help. The king of the berries. Ta-da! That would be the goji berry. So, every smoothie that you make from here on out will contain the goji berry. The dry goji berry. It's a phenomenal berry. It is one of the few berries, and I learned this from David Wolfe, and I want to welcome 2 people to the Dr. Z team that don't even know they're being drafted. David Wolfe, W-O-L-F-E, and Patrick Timpone, or Timpone, T-I-M-P-O-N-E, OneRadioNetwork.com. So again, the spokes of a wheel. I'm one of the few guys that do that. Spokes of a wheel. So now you have David Wolfe, and now you have Patrick Timpone. David Wolfe is a master nutritionist, and Patrick Timpone is a radio host who interviews a ton of these guys that are in the natural health movement. Now, again, the goji berry is hydrating. The goji berry. Remember, when we're dealing with a berry like goji berry, it's been around Chinese herbal medicine for a long, long time for a reason. I consider it the king of the berries for a reason. The nutritional content, the mineral content, the ability for it to inform your cells and restore balance and harmony back into the body is unmatched by any berry. You cannot get regular goji berries, and you may be able to plant some outside, but most of them are going to be dried berries. You don't have to soak them. You can put them directly into the smoothie. You can eat them. They almost have like a raisin-like texture to them. And the goji berry is just incredible. The second berry or fruit that I added would be the dried camel organic powder. Again, CAMU. I usually get mine from Mountain Rose Herbals. Go look it up. If you find a better price, go get it. I trust their quality on most of their things. There's no one herbal company that has it all met. And then of course, then we get into the blueberries, the strawberries, the blackberries, and don't forget, there used to be a craze about this mangosteen fruit. I'm putting in the berry category. It's not really a berry, but it behaves like a berry. It's kind of berryish, apple-ish. Mangosteen, they're still around, and they're still excellent sources of nutrition. You can get the dried mangosteen powder. You can get the dried mangosteen fruit. You cannot get fresh mangosteens here because they won't let you. They don't let them be imported. And we used to get a lot of mangosteen juice, like we get noni juice and mangosteen juice. It used to be a multi-level company, and matter of fact, I was a distributor. Of course, I never sold any of it. I got it for myself so I could get a lower price in it, but it was stored in plastic, and eventually I lost interest. I lose interest in most anything that's stored in plastic, which brings me to my water of the day. Mountain Valley Spring Water. Last time I brought to you man, some powerful water. There you go. It's not an advertisement. It is what I use. This was good because not only is it in a darker green bottle, excuse me, it's in a glass bottle, and it's readily available at Whole Foods. Excuse me, my own detoxification. And I don't buy any bottled waters that's in plastic anymore unless I absolutely have to. And if I have to buy a water that's in a plastic bottle, I'll buy the Fiji water. But I've gone away from that. The other waters that I would drink, and by the way, this is going to be part of your detoxification, is hydration. So you have to hydrate appropriately. The other one that I get in glass water would be Voss, VOSS. So now you know what Dr. Z drinks. Aquapana, Mountain Valley Spring Water, and Voss. But what is the best water to get would be fresh spring water. Well, good luck in finding a spring that you can get to and get the water. If you can, and you know about it, let me, if there's one near where I live, which is in Los Angeles, let me know. I'll go there and get the water. I believe this company comes out of Arkansas. Also make sure that your any spring water that you're buying that's in glass is not near any nuclear waste or power plants, because the water will pick that radiation up. So it's very important that we do not. I think one of the reasons why avian fell out of favor, remember avian was being used by everybody, and then came some information that it was near a nuclear power plant. Remember, all of France is a small country to begin with, and all of the electricity is powered by nuclear. I would say probably a good 90% of it, from what I read. So you make sure that your water is not radioactive. You make sure that it's in a glass bottle. The other thing I have is an Athena water purifier. I have an external two-stage water purifier external to the actual Athena water purifier, which is an alkalinizer, ionizer, and water purifier within itself. So That has 2 stages of filtration. So now I'm getting 4 stages of filtration with the concentration on getting fluoride out of the tap water. So I don't have any problems drinking my tap water with the from the faucet where I have the Athena water filter set up. So I got that from Alkaline Water Plus, and go check out her videos. And I'm going to draft her on the team as well. I can't remember her, Kathleen something or another, but I'll draft her next week on the team. So we have a big team now. Welcome David Wolf, Patrick Tapone, Lou Corona, Dan McDonald, Mr. Neeson, NISON, Dr. Robert Morse, Lauren Lockman. So these are the guys that teach me. There's a lot more. We're going to get Gabriel Cousins drafted in once I review a lot of his work. And I have some other folks I'm looking at. Sherry Tenpenny, welcome to the family as well. She's excellent in terms of talking about viruses and toxic loads from viruses and the developmental disabilities that are being caused by vaccines. But to get back to making the shake, so water, you add some spring water to it. You can add some distilled water. Waterwise Distillers is another company. Welcome aboard. And I use their water distillers, mainly because now distilled water I don't think is good for drinking. It's a very angry water. It's a very unstructured water, but you can add a little bit of salt. What kind of salt do I recommend? Again, for those of you who are going to go through detoxification, you'll need some salt. So Himalayan pink rock salt, but more superior would be the actual pure sea salt, because it is fresh, it is new, it's not been sitting around for hundreds of thousands of years or even millions of years, and it is very bioactive and bioavailable. The problem with that now is that we're polluting our water, so now it's like, what do I choose? Where did this sea salt come from? The sea salt that I get is it comes from a French company, and they get their sea salt near the waters of France, and I tend to like that. There's Celtic sea salt. What you don't want is caking agents. There's an article on my old website about all salts are not created equal. There's black salt as well. It's high in sulfur. For those of you who are detoxing right now, don't mess with it. So you'll deal with the Himalayan pink rock salt, or the actual Celtic sea salt, or the French sea salts. But be careful now, because we're polluting the oceans, and so sometimes the salt can be a source of toxins. I don't think we've polluted the oceans to that point where it's going to drive you crazy. But listen, man, Fukushima's still in full effect, guys. Just because it's not in the news, just because nobody's talking about it, we got a major worldwide catastrophe still occurring, and this thing is a major game changer in terms of what's going on in the seas near Japan, and this thing is spreading out all over the world, including here in 16 of the western states, where they're picking up radioactivity in the milk, which I don't recommend you do. So the other thing you're going to do on a raw food diet, you're going to cut out all milk products. You're going to cut out all oils that are fried. See, a lot of us say, let's heat up an egg, or stir up some onions, and stir up some garlic in and heated olive oil that we paid $29 a bottle for. That's destroying the olive oil. That's creating a rancid fat. If you want to cook something, you will cook it in grass-fed organic butter, or ghee, Ghee, which is clarified butter. You can turn the temperature a little higher on the ghee, or organic lard. Yes, organic animal fat is actually better to cook with if you're going to fry something or stir fry something. So I've given you 3 things: butter, ghee, organic animal fat. If you're on a raw food detoxification diet, I don't recommend cooking anything during that time. Again, So I just gave you the fruits. Make sure you get the organic watermelon. If you get the watermelon with the real seeds in it, good luck trying to find that. I also add grapes. I think grapes are excellent, and the organic bananas. So now you have everything for a shake. Now you can add a superfood like a maca, MACA. You can add a pine pollen, which is excellent. And I will get into detail about what pine pollen does as part of my anti-estrogen compound, because again, we're having an estrogen dominant catastrophe going on, just as bad as the Fukushima event. So, and I always will put a little bit of salt, the sea salt, just a pinch, in both my green drinks and my smoothies. Now, for me, since I'm not detoxing at this point, I will add some nuts and seeds. Hemp being the primary one I will put in. Today I put soaked almond seeds. Almond nuts. If you use seeds and nuts, make sure that you soak them. This is when I recommend using the distilled water. And for distilled water, I also will make teas with, because again, that aggressive water will pull all that good stuff out for making teas. I also recommend Dr. Robert Morse's Heal All Tea if you're going through a detoxification program. Get an extra bag of that. That is great, and that's one of the things that my father was on. And right now they're out of it, and for some reason they can't get to a website and buy the Heal All Tea. I said, if you can't get to the website and buy the Heal All Tea, then apparently you don't need the Heal All Tea. Hate to be cold about it, but come on, guys. Get the freaking Heal All Tea and get it going. When you do any teas like that, they were recommending actually putting the Heal All Tea into boiling water. I never recommend that. I always recommend to get it to boiling or just under boiling, between 150, 106 degrees Fahrenheit would even be better. You take it to boiling. Sometimes you get the water gets a little nasty at boiling. So then you let it cool down, right? So give it at least 3-4 minutes to cool down, and then I'll add the herbs. Loose herbs into a stainless steel container that you can drop the herbs in, and then the still water will go and start pulling out all the oils, all the minerals, all the phyto chemicals of that particular herb or tea concoction that you're making. I'll have more about how I make my teas in another video, but right now just get the detoxification tea. And when you get the Heal All Tea, look at the ingredients and just make a mental note of the ingredients, because you can buy some of these ingredients and then make your own Heal All Tea if you find that the Heal All Tea is too expensive for your purse. Speaking of expense, all 5 of the consults have been used up for free. And then I even had some consults that I did at a reduced price, which I don't like to do. And then I had a couple of cancellations. That's fine. Listen, the health coaching that I do, I'm not a particular great fan of doing it. I will do it in particular cases. I've never turned anyone down, but it does cost money, and that's about the only thing that you would pay money for when you're dealing with Dr. Z at this point. And that's because that's a service, just like I would practice medicine on the outside. Yeah, you pay me for my time and for my energy. Otherwise, if money's an issue, you stick with the videos. There's a lot of information to be gleaned. We're in the year 2015. Actually, this is now April 28th, 2015. I like to put the dates every once in a while, so when I look at these videos years from now, I'll understand where I was and where I'm going. So that's a smoothie, and then we talked about a couple of superfoods in there: the maca, the goji berry, and the camel. Okay, so do not underestimate the power of a smoothie containing these ingredients. Add water. You can add some ice. Make sure that ice is not tap water ice. For those of you who go to restaurants, hidden source of the toxins. You get your spring water, and then they bring you a bottle of a glass of ice that comes from the tap. Hello. So the initial compound that I started my father on is an initial compound, a herbal compound that I would start everybody on, because these are high mineral compounds. And what did I say in the last 3 videos? I've been emphasizing we are lacking minerals in the soil. We are lacking minerals in the soil. Now, I've been looking at agriculture, especially private agriculture, and seeing some of the interesting things they're doing in terms of composting and how to add minerals to the soil. And one of the things they use now, interesting enough, is sea water. No, we can't drink the sea water. It's not good for humans. Even though people will tell you, well, the seawater content and the salt content and minerals and the ormus minerals, these are rare earth minerals that are in very low amounts in the water, in the seawater, mimics the blood. And that may be true. That doesn't mean we should be drinking it. But they are now using it in the soil to remineralize what is otherwise demineralized or low-grade soils. And so I like that idea. It's a great idea because then the plants will then absorb those sea minerals, take them from an inorganic state to an organic, bioavailable state. You eat the plants, and bingo, you have the sea vegetable. You have these sea minerals. But what's another way of getting sea minerals? That brings me to the sea vegetation or the sea herbs. You can make your own compound with this. Take 4 or 5, I suggest probably starting with 4, and do 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, and start that. Take it, add it to a green drink, add it to water and drink it. Add it to a smoothie if you can handle it. I don't particularly like to see vegetation in my smoothies. Some people don't mind it. Add it to your green drink. So let's get right into the sea vegetables. Must do during the 90 days of detoxification. Again, a must do. So the sea vegetation. Kelp. Of course, we know kelp is high in iodine. It's high in a lot of what I call ormus or rare earth or trace minerals that the body desperately needs because it's not getting it from the soils and the food that we eat. So a couple of others, the algae, top on the list is chlorella, spirulina. They each have a different magnetism about them. Spirulina actually you get from the ocean. Chlorella is typically an algae that's found in the fresh water. But I lump them all together and they seem to be synergistic. So you can mix chlorella with spirulina. I've never had a problem with that. Or you can use one or the other. If you're doing detoxification, I would recommend more of the chlorella than the spirulina because the chlorella is a heavy metal detoxifier, and especially if you have anyone with Alzheimer's, anyone with any type of slowing down mental fog, hearing problems, visual problems, you'll want to use the chlorella because that's going to start to pull out the heavy metals, the aluminum, the mercury, and the others that get into our system because we're living in a toxic world and we have not been educated enough to avoid these things. I mean, aluminum cans, you got aluminum utensils, and you got aluminum. Vaccines, you got the aluminum and the mercury. It's a never-ending, the aluminum and barium that's being sprayed in chemtrails. So, yeah, we have to have a way of getting rid of aluminum. So, chlorella, spirulina. Dr. Sebi turned me on to this one. Irish sea moss. Just a wonderful, wonderful sea vegetable. Please go get yourself some powdered Irish sea moss. You can get it also cut up and dried, and you can make a tea with it or add it to your heel-all tea. So you can put the heel-all tea in, add some Irish moss to it, and that just gives it nice mineral kick to it. Some people don't like the taste. I don't mind the taste of it, but I never use it by itself. I always add it as part of a holistic blend of sea vegetation or sea herbs. Next one is, again, Sebi turned me on to this one. And remember, Sebi's part of the team. That's SEBI, is bladderwrack. BLADDERWRACK. Now, I've seen it spelled without the W in it, but it is actually bladderwrack. So please go get some powdered bladderwrack. You can get it in capsules, or you can get it in a bulk powder, 8 ounces, 16 ounces. So you probably don't need more than that at any one time. And it's fairly cheap. Matter of fact, all of these are fairly cheap. Then you have the Dulce, DULSE. And then you can get in some of the fancy ones, the Ndwami, the Noris, and there's a lot of sea vegetation. There's sea lettuce, so you can get some sea lettuce. But those sea vegetations, I cannot tell you the power they have to detoxify, to remineralize, and to get that bioelectric nature going within inside one body and lighting up that brain like a light bulb. Okay? So, the sea vegetation. I hope you paid attention to it. I'll go through it again. Chlorella, spirulina, Irish sea moss, bladderwrack, dulse, kelp, sea lettuce. Okay? And that's plenty enough to get you started. Matter of fact, that may be enough to carry you through the rest of your life. Where do I want to go next? The green drinks, which are detoxifying. Always in the green drink, you want to have celery. Now, Sebi doesn't like celery because he says celery has inorganic salts in it. To me, if it's been taken up from the ground and the celery has it, it should convert it to something that's organically available. I find celery juice to be a wonderful tonic, as well as cucumbers. So I always mix the cucumber with the celery, and then I'm looking to green it up with some kale. I'm looking to green it up with some dandelion leaves. I'm looking to green it up with some arugula, my favorite of all time. You can't get it at Whole Foods all the time. Matter of fact, I went there the last time there wasn't none. I'm looking to green it up with, anything that's dark green and leafy. Now, in all of my green drinks, I always have parsley, the Italian parsley, and I always have cilantro organic. Matter of fact, all this stuff should be organic. You can add turmeric, so you can get a turmeric, fresh turmeric. You can put it in your smoothie. I will usually cut up a lime, so that because I have a centrifugal system, so by adding the lime, it kind of acts like a preservative. So you want an organic lime. I'm not a lemon fan, and I put lime in a lot of water that I drink, especially the early morning water. And when you wake up in the morning, you should be drinking. This is not everybody, because some of you are holding on to a lot of fluids. A lot of you sick people are holding on to a lot of fluids. Why? Because number one, you're not moving enough, and therefore the lymph system is not being stimulated. If you cannot exercise or walk or do anything like that, you may want to invest in a thing called a mini trampoline or a rebounder. And I know a lot of people who think, oh, I couldn't do that. That's radical. No, sometimes you just stand on the rebounder. The one I have is the NEEDAK, NEEDAK. The one I just bought is the Bellicon, and I'm still waiting for that one to be delivered. One is a spring mechanism, one is a bungee cord. The bungee cords are typically, if you're going to get a high quality one, more expensive, but they last longer, and there's usually lifetime warranties or 5-year warranties on those. But and then you can get a stabilizer to hold on to it, so you can have your balance until you get used to it. And all you got to do is just You don't have to jump. Your feet never have to leave the ground. You're just bouncing. Bounce up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Work with it for 20 minutes. Eventually, over the course of months, you'll be able to jump, turn, spin, do running in place. And they have whole DVDs, and they have a lot of YouTube stuff on how to use a rebounder. But when you first get the rebounder, you're just going to kind of bounce on it and let it kind of push you up and down. And again, your feet never have to leave the ground when you first start the rebounding. But rebounding is excellent. And, you know, I was looking for a way to, between Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when I play basketball, and I did a lot of walking, and I'm just sick of the walking, and I don't want to put extra pressure on the knee, especially since I'm putting a lot of pressure on. So I wanted something that was kind of low impact. Swimming is good, but most people who are sick are not going to get in the pool and go swimming. So what did I discover? I discovered rebounding, and that's part of your detoxification program, because why? Moving your lymph is part of detoxification. Okay, you're not going to drink a lot of water if you're holding on to fluids. That's suicide. Okay, but if you're dehydrated, then you can drink a liter. I drink up to 2 liters of water a day. Matter of fact, that's my goal, is 2 liters of water a day. But some of you may have to go to a half a liter of water a day, because you're going to get hydration from the smoothie, you're going to get hydration from the green drink. So going on with how I construct my green drink, always with cilantro, always with the parsley. Why? These are blood purifiers, detoxifiers, and heavy metal chelators. Again, I'm a stickler on getting heavy metals out. I'm a stickler on getting out mercury fillings, but again, I have yet to find a dentist in my area that knows how to do it properly, so I'm still in search of that. When I find one, but there are holistic green dentists that know exactly how to get mercury fillings out of one's mouth. I highly recommend you do that. But the main thing is, if you are chelating more heavy metals than you're taking in, and then the balance is overall negative, in other words, you're getting more out than you're taking in, you've won the battle. So that's what detoxification can do. And then you can add whatever else you want into it. I mean, I always add a pinch of, again, sea salt or Himalayan rock salt, just a pinch. You could add an essential fatty acid to that. And so now that's going to bring me to the essential fatty acids. So now listen, we've covered the berries, we've covered the smoothies, we've covered the water, we've covered the glass, making sure that your water's in glass. We've covered the water filters that you can hook up to your faucet. And these water filters, unfortunately, are super expensive, but well worth the investment if you have the money. So then you don't have to invest a whole lot of money in bottled water. But right now, in the glass, right? Or you go directly to the spring and get it yourself. The water gods were good to me this time. No coughing. So why don't I then talk about? I'll talk about the essential fatty acids, because again, what's missing in most of our diets are the minerals and the essential fatty acids. Now, essential fatty acids are a huge topic. The list of my essential fatty acids is, of course, cholesterol, which has been vilified. No, cholesterol does not cause heart attacks. No, cholesterol is not the problem. No, you don't need statin drugs, because it doesn't make any damn sense to take a statin drug that blocks cholesterol absorption and inhibits your liver's ability to make cholesterol when it's 100% necessary for all phases of life, from hormones to nerve function to brain functioning. I mean, these are all phospholipids where cholesterol is incorporated. Every cell membrane has cholesterol incorporated, so it's not a villain. So we don't go nuts at getting paranoid about the two things that we've gotten stupid about: is sunlight and cholesterol. Yet you'll eat your meat, you'll drink your dairy, and think that that's a good source of calcium. You know, I mean, things are backwards, man. Like I said, you got to unlearn most of what you've learned. So no, cholesterol, especially dietary cholesterol, is not a problem. And remember, cholesterol comes to the scene where there's inflammation to put out the fires of inflammation. It is a band-aid to a greater problem of toxic acidosis, which is leading to inflammation and so forth and so on. See the videos for that. But we talk about toxic acidosis all the time as being the culprit, right? And everything else coming off of that. So when you have diabetes, the culprit is always toxic acidosis, right? Because the cells are knocked and not opening up to the glucose delivery from the insulin. That's called insulin resistance. So they can treat it with insulin, they can treat it with metformin and those type of things. I don't recommend it. I recommend detoxifying first. But you do not stop your pharmaceutical medications. You can go through the detox with your pharmaceutical medications on board, and then you can work with an intelligent doctor who says, oh, your blood sugars are going down. Let's lower the dose of the metformin. Let's lower the dose some more. Let's lower your dose of statin. See, if you're on a statin drug, you're on a diabetes drug, you can't stop this stuff suddenly. Remember, your body's now gotten used to it, and it's built metabolic and physiological pathways around these toxic substances. Yeah, you should have never got started on it in the first damn place. This is the problem with medicine right now. Everything's a damn drug and a pharmaceutical. Well, that's what's running medicine at this point, and that's how they make their money. So that's fine. We got to be smarter than that and know when to use pharmaceuticals and when not to. Most of the time, you don't need them. Most of the time, they're overprescribed. Most of the time, we're trying to kill things, and we can kill things naturally. So you don't stop your pharmaceutical medication, but you do work with the doctor. You let the doctor know what you're doing. He will invariably say, "Oh, what are you doing? Detoxifying? That's voodoo medicine." And then you slap him in the face and find a doctor that knows about detoxification. It's the wrong damn doctor. And unfortunately, there's only one in 100, or maybe 1 in 1,000. No, I would say probably 1 in 100. So 1% of us have woken up and understand about detoxification and the beauty of that, and have used it on ourselves. Remember, a doctor that does not use detoxification as part of a healing mechanism for his own self should not be allowed to practice medicine, in my opinion, or especially guide anybody that's going through a detoxification. So again, raw food diet, the smoothies, the green drinks, the essential fatty acids. They got a new product out, and I've yet to try it yet, but I'm anxious to try it. I'm going to order some tonight, and that's called the algae or the blue-green algae oil. And there's another name for it. You can get the EFC3 algae as well. These have essential fatty oils in them. Again, that you can put the algae in the sea vegetation as well. That's a good oil. Olive oil, good oil. Again, you don't cook it. My favorite oil of all time is organic, raw, you guessed it, coconut oil. And you can put the, listen, I brush my teeth with coconut oil. Water, baking soda, coconut oil, and then the baking soda, and I brush my teeth. When you push that coconut oil into your gums, man, it really strengthens your gums and decreases inflammation. Coconut oil all over the body gets absorbed, and then you get essential fatty acids from that. Long chain, medium chain, saturated, everything in coconut oil. So to me, it's one of the greatest oils ever created by man. It's coconut oil. Other oils that have essential fatty acids. Well, that brings us to fish oils. I used to be a big fan of fish oils until the fish started showing up with a bunch of mercury. And now you have to process the fish oil so much, as I'm not sure how bioavailable they are anymore, because you got to almost distill the oil out of the fish to make sure that you get rid of all the benzenes, the chlorines, the mercuries, the heavy metals, the list goes on and on, out of the fish oil, because the fish is swimming around in a toxic ocean. And the bigger the fish, the more it's going to store these heavy metals. So high up on the chain. Mackerel is, I would say mackerel fish oil is probably better than cod fish oil. So everybody knows about cod liver oil. Mothers had it right. They were giving us the fish oil. They just give it. They pour it in a teaspoon. They give it to us. The stuff tasted nasty. And they say have some Wonder Bread with it. Come on, Mom. Jesus, you couldn't figure out a way to get the fish oil into something else to make it more palatable. You couldn't, figure out another way to get us the fish oil. Maybe most of us would be a lot healthier today if we had the cod liver oil or the fish oils. So I'm not a big fan of fish oils because now we have the algae oil, we have the hemp oil, we have the nut oils, we have the coconut oils, we have the olive oils. So these are where you're going to get your, you have your flaxseed oils. Again, I hope I mentioned hemp oil. Extremely important. Hemp oils, one of the top on the list. Probably hemp will probably be number 2 for me. I'll try the algae oil and let you know about it. But again, we do get you some essential fatty acids as part of your rebuilding and detoxification program. And especially if you have any nervous problems, if you have any degenerative nerve conditions or central nervous system conditions like Alzheimer's, like you've had an infection in your brain and you're trying to rebuild the nerve tissue back up so that you turn on like a light bulb, the essential fatty acids with the minerals will turn you on like a light bulb. Now I realize this video is running long. It's not my fault. I got to give you the information, right? When the family calls me in 911 situations, I got to give you the full Monty, because then I don't get a ton of phone calls. Although I don't mind the phone calls. Actually, I like discussing this stuff, but it has to be done, and I have to have some depth to it. So now we've talked about the smoothies, the berries, the water, the sea herbs, the essential fatty acids. Now let's go to some of the superfoods. Maca, I mentioned, is a superfood. It grows at high elevations in the Andes of Peru and most of South America. So maca comes in yellow maca, red maca, and black maca. When you get the maca, listen, they have gelatinized, which means they've taken out the starch. To me, the less processed the stuff is, the better off it is. You're going to have to experiment with maca. I do recommend it as part of the anti-estrogen program, and I do recommend it as part of your detoxification program as well. So I love maca. Passion fruit. So if you get passion fruit powder, which is difficult to do, but if you can get it, again, it's part of the anti-estrogen program. Pine pollen, part of the anti-estrogen program as well. The bee pollen, but you want to get, when you get bee pollen, fresh bee pollen, it's not hard. It's soft and the oils are still there and it has a nice fresh smell to it. So you have to learn how to use the bee pollen. I usually, today I put the bee pollen in the in my shake. I blended it up. So you can put bee pollen in there. What else at this stage? Manuka honey. Raw Manuka honey with a rating of at least with a, I forgot what they actually rated it. It's an active ingredient that actually is part of it's part of the its ability to kill parasites and bacteria and fungus and viruses. I would get one with at least a 16 plus, and I have quite a few with 20 plus. It's expensive, so you won't be using that much of it. Again, if you have diabetes, be careful. I don't think the sugar from this type of honey is harmful to a diabetic, but again, be careful. Use it in small amounts in the beginning. It is packed full of minerals. It's packed full of B vitamins. It's packed full of things. The other bee product would be, of course, royal jelly. This is sitting near the top of superfoods because it has everything: amino acids, essential fatty acids, everything is in it. You can live off of this stuff for months if you had to. The thing about it is very sloppy to work with. It's expensive, And I then recommend the freeze-dried, like the Alchemy, I can't remember the name of the company, Alchemy something. It's a yellowish powder, and that you can put in your smoothies, you can put in your green drinks, or you can just mix it in water and have it whatever way you want. Figure out a way to incorporate royal jelly into your diet. A big, for diabetics, Yakun root syrup does not give you a glycemic hit. It does not increase your insulin, and so it's a good way of getting something sweet and nice. So you can sweeten up your smoothie. You can sweeten up anything. If you want to make a lemonade, you can take the lemon and the water and put some Yakun root syrup in it, and it is absolutely wonderful tasting. I am not a fan of stevia anymore, so those of you who like stevia, that's fine. I kind of never was a great fan of stevia. It works. It's highly, has a nice sugary taste to it, sweet taste to it, but again, it does not give you a glycemic hit. So stevia, organic stevia, is good. You can get it in a powder or liquid form. It's fine. Superfood. And this is one with a lot of controversy, but I suggest you use it. And that's raw cacao. A lot of us who grew up here in the United States call it the cocoa bean, or the cocoa bean, not to get confused with the plant that makes cocaine. Alright, so cocoa is a British term. I stay with the South American term, where most of the cacao beans are grown, and so I call it what they call it, cacao, C-A-C-A-O. Cacao beans, cacao nibs, and raw organic cacao powder. Now there's a lot of controversy because a lot of the stuff that's being sold today is of low quality. A lot of the stuff that's being sold today is rushed to market. A lot of the, remember they make chocolate with the cacao. A lot of the cacao has been heated. Sometimes I got one from Mountain Rose Nutritionals. Didn't look at the what I was buying, and it was roasted. That went into the garbage, unfortunately. I could have sent it back, but by the time I realized it was already months too late. I have a lot of cacao. A lot. I mean, cacao, you want to talk about waking up your brain. You want to talk about a superfood that has just about everything. It's high in vitamin C. By the way, camel is one of the highest berries that has vitamin C. That's why I use it. So vitamin C is extremely important, but you want to get it as part of the bioflavonoid complex. So cacao is a must. Green algae we talked about. Now we can get into the mushrooms. Now mushrooms are a whole video in and of themselves because there's so many of them. So I'm just going to take you to the top of traditional Chinese herbs and what they use as the top. The reishi mushroom, the shiitake mushroom, the maitake mushroom, and maitake before shiitake, the cordyceps, and the list goes on and on. If you can get reishi mushroom powder, organic reishi mushroom powder, you can get, now they have reishi spore, which is extremely potent. But start with the reishi powder. You can get the reishi mushrooms, like the mushrooms, you can get it, it comes dried, and then you can make teas with it. You can add it to your detox tea. But I highly recommend these powerful mushrooms. Dr. Robert Morris, who's on my team, does not like mushrooms because he thinks that they're a fungus. Jesus Christ, man. They're a fungus? Yeah, they're a fungus. So what? They're extremely nutrifying. By the way, natural vitamin D in these things. They are extremely health beneficial if you get the right ones. Okay, now there's the other side to mushroom. They can kill you, right? They can be psychogenic, right? LSD was originally designed from a highly processed mushroom. Sure, I like to go down to South America where they mix up these psychogenic mushrooms and try some of that stuff and see what kind of trip you can go on. In all seriousness, they do have these paste of mushrooms that they use in the ceremony in some of these areas. But let's just stick with the reishi mushroom for right now if you're having an issue. So you add the mushroom, and that's your superfoods. Listen, we've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about the sea herbs, we've talked about the essential fatty acids, we talked about water, we talked about the berries, we've talked about the smoothies, we talked about being on a raw food diet. We've talked about, and by the way, I would use my fruits during the morning time, in the afternoon time. I would use the salads and fruits, but you don't want to mix salads with the fruits. Remember, when you're detoxifying, you're staying off the nuts for the most part, but you can use some of the oils, okay, because you need the oils. I forgot to mention cinnamon, especially if you're diabetic, extremely high in chromium, and it helps with managing diabetes. So, true cinnamon. There's another thing called false cinnamon, which is actually very nutritious for you, but we're not going to go into that right now. So, true cinnamon. It smells like cinnamon, that tastes like cinnamon, that we use as a spice. You can get it in bulk and you get it organic. And I think that covers it. So, you're going in a 90-day detoxification. You're going to use Dr. Morse's, at least his first kit. You're going to watch all the videos that I have previous to this one. You're going to also make sure that you're getting proper vitamin D, not supplemental vitamin D. And this is funny. I'm going to leave this video after this because it's kind of exhausting and exhaustive in terms of everything I'm talking about. But I've simplified it enough, I think, for you guys to, especially family members, my own patients, and those of you who are YouTube surfers and want to actually learn something about what works and what doesn't work in terms of curing the body of its ailments and in terms of providing remedies that are lifelong remedies. Sunlight. You know, I started talking about the 10 elements of health which should be memorized by now. I've come up with a mnemonic, the 3 L's, love, light, and laughter. DOA, unfortunately, it stands for dead on arrival. Of course, we want to be alive on arrival, but detoxification, oxygenation, alkalinization, and then CNSH. CNS stands for central nervous system, but that stands for consciousness, which covers the emotional self, emotional poise, your mind, your thinking, your negative energies, positive energies that can be also converted through your own thought patterns, positive expectation, and then also receiving direct knowledge from the universe itself and from your own high self. In the consciousness, I also include the energy systems and meridians of the body, especially the chakras, which I talked about in other videos, and I will continue to talk about them in future videos. But vitamin D, which means you must take your behind out in the sun. You must remove the shirt. You must remove the shorts. If you can be naked, all the more better. You must get sunlight on the front side of your body. You must get sunlight on the back side of your body. You must get sunlight on the 2 sides of your body. Okay? You must get, but you can't go out dressed like I am right now with the shorts on, a t-shirt on, basketball, playoffs are happening. It's a great time for me this year. I always like this time when college basketball and NBA playoffs are starting. It's beautiful for me. When I get done with this video, I'm going to watch the Clippers play against San Antonio. Series is tied 2-2. But it always amazes me how people come up with excuses as to why they can't go out with most of their clothes off and get sunlight. Jesus Christ, man, is this how far we've come from getting outside the laws of nature, which is the really only sin? You've not committed a fatal sin in terms of some sort of spiritual nonsense that they're talking about with religions, all right? But yet the preacher's going to come to me, who's eating his hog maws and his all his pork and meats and all this other kind of crap, and that, you know, and then come to me and want me to heal him. I said, why don't you pray to God? Okay, you're supposed to be the spiritual healer. You can't heal shit. But I don't hate them. I mean, they're just as ignorant as everybody else, and as ignorant as I was at one point. You know, you only can fight ignorance by getting knowledge and getting knowledge in the right places. And so I hope this is one channel where you can get a lot of good information. It's 28 videos now. We're going to be doing 29, 30. There's so much to cover. And this is a wonderful medium. I love YouTube, but getting back to sunlight, man, if you can't get your body out in the sunlight for a minimum of 30 minutes a day, there's something wrong. Now, of course, the lighter your skin, the less sunlight you need to activate what? The hormone that we call vitamin D, cholecalciferol 3. No, you cannot take a hormonal supplement of vitamin D. The body does not recognize the isolates. It looks at it, and it actually is a toxin for the body. Some of these mushrooms have natural vitamin D in them, and so you can get some vitamin D from the mushrooms family, but why not just get it from the direct sunlight? And if you're in Southern California, you're not getting 30 minutes of sunlight a day, front and back. I mean, the whole thing, 30 minutes. The darker your skin, the more sunlight you will need, because the more it will have to, remember the melanin, not melatonin, which is the hormone in the that's made from the pineal gland. Melanin, which is the skin pigment, the more of that that's in your skin, the more sunlight that you will need, because it's blocking the penetration of the UVA, and mainly the UVB, which is the frequency of light that stimulates the vitamin D. When you do your detoxification program, sunlight must be part of the detoxification program, as well as fresh air. So getting your butt out in nature, not sitting in front of the fluorescent lights, you have to go get your 30 minutes of sunlight every day. And I've been doing that religiously, unless there's no, unless we have a cloudy day, and of course it's a waste of time. But I might go out there and still rebound if it's a cloudy day, and just rebound. Me, I can, do, the significant rebounding workouts, because my body's in pretty good shape, and I'm athletic, so I can do the rebounding. But man, a 20-minute rebounding exercise regime, that can take it out of you. I'm telling you, rebounding is the joint. Get you a good reclining chair that can lie flat, right? Do not put your sunglasses on, and don't stare directly at the sunlight. If you do stare directly at the sunlight, you can close your eyes. There is something about the sunlight hitting the optic nerves and hitting the brain. So again, with brain fog, boom, it opens it up. The vitamin D, it's a hell of a, the vitamin D does, thousands of, I don't think we discovered all the things that hormone vitamin D does, that cholecalciferol 3 does. So we know that it's involved in calcium metabolism. We know that it's involved in mineral metabolism. We know that it's involved in immune system functions. We know that it has a lot of, it functions even at the genetic level. It's an anti-cancer. It's a natural antidepressant, again, brain. Okay, and for me, the only way to get it, man, is to get your butt out in the sunlight. So if you're skittish about being naked, I've got a new diagnostic tool in my bag. It's called pull your pants down, turn around. If your ass is pale, that means you need to get your ass in the sunlight. That's a very easy tool. Pale ass, you're low in vitamin D, and you're probably not eating a raw food diet. Listen, after your 90 days on a raw food diet, do you have to stay raw? No, you do not. You can have some cooked foods. Even if you find yourself kind of getting just a little, because you're going to go through some withdrawal symptoms because of all the chemicals that you're going to be getting rid of. Remember, go look up what the healing crisis is as you go through detoxification. If you're not willing to go through detoxification, I cannot help you. Also, I would recommend for most of you 2 to 3 sessions of colon hydrotherapy. When I did my initial detox, I had 6 sessions of colon hydrotherapy. Did I find it pleasant? I did not. Did I find it effective? I did. When you're doing your liver flush, you at the end, at least at the very end, you need to get 1 or 2 colon flushes. If you find your GI system is all messed up and screwed up, go get a colon hydrotherapy session. You may find there's material that's coming out that your body's not digesting, and for some reason it's not moved out. So sometimes there's seeds and nuts that your body's not breaking down, and for some reason it doesn't come out. You think it would come out, but sometimes it doesn't come out. So the colon hydrotherapy will flush that out. So again, colon hydrotherapy, highly recommended as part of the detoxification phase. Okay, I'm going to stop. Cousin, aunts, uncles, families, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, everybody. I think I gave you enough information on this video to sink your teeth into for months to come. Okay? So, but of course I will continue to make more videos. But this is a very important video. Again, I love all of you, man. This is a labor of love, peace, power, prosperity, and most of all, love to you and your family. Dr. Z, signing off.